Welcome to a super short episode of The Future. Today we're going to talk about the 5 things that creatives do to lose clients that are so hard to get. Some of the best ways that you can lose a client, and you have to keep in mind it's really hard to get a client in the first place, so you need to treat them like the gold that they are, especially when you're young and you feel like you're God's gift to whatever it is that you do. Then you can take it for granted and think, well, I'm the gift and they should be so grateful to work with me. A is when you're not being responsive. That's one of the best ways to lose a client. When they ask you for something and it takes hours, days, weeks for you to respond. For whatever reason, that should never happen. I don't mean to say you're on their beck and call and there's a hotline to your personal phone, but you should have systems in place that people are responding. And sometimes when you don't have a really good answer, the best response is just to say, received, we are processing, I will get back to you as soon as I have a good answer for you. So just make sure. Responsiveness is something that I use to measure whether or not I'm going to hire somebody. At the very early stages, if you're not responsive, you're not going to get the project. Number 2 is to be completely inflexible. There's certain latitude that you have to kind of keep in mind that when you're working with someone else, whether it's a team of 2 or a team of 2,000, it's a collaborative effort, and to never close yourself off from input from your clients. It is a natural thing for creative people to feel like, I have the ideas, you hired me, I'm the expert, so let me do my thing and don't mess it up. That kind of attitude, sometimes even though you're not literally doing anything, can be felt, and people are very sensitive to these kinds of attitude. Like you give them a weird look, you side-eye them, you roll your eye, you let out, and they start to feel that, and then they feel like they're being punished for trying to contribute to the project. I have to say this, sometimes when you're working with really good clients, they will ask you to do something that's really difficult. And I don't try to measure if it's difficult, if I should do. I always ask myself, is that a better idea? If it's a better idea, I do it and I'm grateful for it. And if you do that, then you are inviting them to feel like they're a collaborator. And no one wants to feel like they're just money, that they want to feel like they've had a hand in it, big and small. So make sure you're more open-minded to collaboration and to input. Number 3, when you onboard a client, and the feelings are high, you need to make sure you have a very clear process and don't leave them asking what happens next. You should take the initiative. Thank you for signing the purchase order. We're going to send you an invoice and here's what's going to happen next. And the more you have a system in place, the more they're going to feel at ease, because only people who have done things many times have a system in place. It makes it feel like you're an experienced professional and they're in good hands. And the whole point of it is you're selling, not what you do, but you're selling peace of mind. Having a clearly defined structure and process and system in place, here's what happens next, will help you communicate that in literal terms and figurative terms. Number 4 is to realize that your clients hired you because you are the professional and not to expect them to have the language to so carefully articulate the things that you understand in the language that you know. There's no point to hire you if they can do that. So you want to make it feel safe for them to be able to say in non-technical terms, using non-jargon, non-specific language, what they want, and for you to then dialogue with them, ask them deep follow-up questions to get to what it is that they want. And then the way that you do that is, after asking all those questions, is you play back, here's what I heard you say, here's the objective that you want, and this is how we will do it. Do you have any questions? Sometimes in you describing what it is you're going to do, you'll default to language that you understand. It'll make you feel really smart and feel like you're an expert, and you intimidate the client to the point in which they just go along with it versus agreeing to it, which is a very different thing. You get a false yes from them. You do the thing and then you show them the work and you're so excited about showing them the work and they have a reaction you never want to hear, like, oh, that's not what I was expecting when you said you were going to do X. So make sure you're inclusive in your language and you continue to ask them, are we on the same page? Do you understand? And the last point, the best way you can lose a client is to just take the relationship for granted, that everything's always working and that they only call you when they need something. And what happens in these moments, like usually it's like 3, 4, 5 months into a relationship, you've fallen into a rhythm, everybody's doing what they need to do. Don't forget to call up your client, to go over progress and to just dialogue with them about their impressions about what's going on or future things that might be coming down the pipeline. This is really important for not only maintaining the relationship, but potentially opening doors for newer opportunities. So if you're dialoguing with them, you're making sure the team's doing a good job. And this is a really important thing because sometimes the team that you put in place will not tell you they're having challenges with a client until it's too late, until the client says, you know what, I don't want to work with you anymore. It started out great, but your team isn't getting it. And now that bridge is broken and there's no way you can get back across. Maintain constant communication. When I say constant, there's a cadence. Maybe it's in the beginning a couple of times a week, and then once every other week, and then once a month, but probably not less than once a month. Make sure you give them valuable information, insights, analytical data that's driving some of the things that you're doing, that reminds them that they're making progress towards their goal. It makes them feel like you're on top of it and that you care deeply about their business, but it also opens the doors for new opportunities.